Did you hear that, Rod? It's time for Murder Moose.
It's time for Murder Moose.
Episode 144, part of the Slash and Cast Podcast Network.
Josh, I want you to look at the episode that's above
game.
the poster for the movie and tell me what numbers are there.
Oh, did I say 144? I totally meant to say 141. And then I just realized that I said 144 because I am so in the fucking game.
It's in the game.
It's in the
It's in the game.
Yeah, I'm not in the game. Hey, that's a new dog.
That's
Oh, wait, that's not
not
the
new.
dog. Oh,
I've had her since December. Man.
This is a
It's
new
not-
dog.
This is a new. That's the weirdest looking dog I've ever seen. This is Zelda. She is a soon-to-be 9-month-old poodle.
whoa.
She's a little bitch, and I love her.
We all
8
love
months
her.
Yes.
She's a sweetheart.
How the
Who-
fuck you guys doing? How the fuck are you doing?
I'm doing good, Josh. How about you, buddy?
Fucking busy. Holy shit. I love it, though. Guys, HorrorCon. Look at this. Team.
I'm so
Let's go.
excited for that. I want to go.
I
wanna
want
go too,
okay,
but-
so let's make this a thing because next year I'm on so I've been slowly taking over a lot more of the HorrorCon to help out and just my love and to give my expertise of whatever the fuck I do too much, but I'm doing way more next year for the con, and next year is going to be way bigger. So let's say it here, guys. Come down. Let's make it a thing. I'll set aside some time so we can make Murder Moose like a thing there, and we'll record it, and we'll have the ability to talk with celebrities and stuff. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
I'm very down for this. Hopefully, fucking airplane tickets and shit cost less money by then. But
Look for
I'm
sales.
applying for my passport tomorrow, so
yes,
Let's look for sales. It's the same time every year. It's now. It's
yeah.
Father's
all the
Day
shenanigans-
weekend.
With all the shenanigans going around, it's Sunday is Father's Day and also my mother's birthday, so that's fun.
That contradicts one another. It's
I know,
Father's
it's
Day,
very-
Mother. I'm
Mother-
sorry, but it's Father's Day.
Mother, it is Father's Day, mother, and you shall respect Father's Day, mother. You are only 6. I think she's 6. She's not even the good 16 number. She's 68 this year. So
Aww.
next year she's 69. Giggity.
So, because you
My
just can't
mother-
wait for your mom to be 69. What?
That sounds really bad. And shut the fuck
Yes.
up, Josh. And also, my mother who is like, I want to come visit for your 40th birthday, and I'm like, Mom, my life's a fucking disaster right now. And then she took it personally and was like, you don't want a thief. And I'm like, yeah, that's it, mother. That's what I said. No, yeah, exactly. Thanks, Mom.
Don't piss off your mother, Rod. Have I taught you nothing? You don't piss off your mother.
No, you've taught me nothing. What do you? Of course, you've taught me nothing. All you've done is troll me for almost 3 years, Josh.
So what? It means I fucking love you. Okay, shut the fuck up.
I'm drinking Jack Daniels because of Josh. That's the only reason I'm drinking Jack Daniels.
Everyone and anyone that has ever listened to any episode of this show knows that I fucking love you, and
I know,
it's
I
not
love
that
you too.
bad. Don't make me
I know.
sound that fucking bad, okay,
I'm
man?
just kidding. It's called joking, Josh, and I'm giving you shit back. If you could dish it out, you could take it, motherfucker. You
I'm
could take it.
just
right in the
so
taint.
ADD, and this show fucking brings it right out of me.
I know it does.
I don't even
I know
think
it does.
no, but I think it's also the time of day when we record. That's like when my medication is just like completely worn off, and I'm just like, I can't human anymore. So I'm just ADD.
I mean, Ken's life has been a roller coaster lately, and so we've been recording later and on random days, and so it's been like last week we were like, By the time we hit like 45 minutes, I'm barely awake, and
I was literally asleep at some point.
Kid fell asleep.
But I
Josh
loved
is
it.
Josh is on ADHD Planet 9, and I'm sitting there going, must make it to an hour. It's not gonna happen. It was like the first episode of the show that didn't hit 60 minutes. I think it was like 58, but it was close. But yeah, it was there. I don't care either. But I was just like, I was trying. I was like,
Oh,
it's
hey,
just like
it's just me. Oh,
just
there's my
you,
Josh
Josh.
now.
chat. God damn it, Josh.
What the hell? Stop! I'm trying to color correct, but it won't let me. There we go.
The Malum demon ghost baby child is taking over Josh's stream deck.
That was a fun, weird movie. That's all I gotta say. But let's not talk about it
We'll
yet.
talk about it later. Yeah. What have you guys been watching? Have you been watching anything else besides like this movie? We're talking about Malum today from 2023, but
I watched it
anything else?
so early that I forgot what the fuck we were talking about because we, like we're doing it a little later, but I also don't normally have time right away. So I was like, I'll just watch it like whatever. And then I honestly forgot what the fuck we're doing. But I've been really stupid busy with HorrorCon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doing lots of
I
stuff.
watched it on Sunday, and I was like trying to compare it to Last Shift in my head. And there are a lot of similarities, but they added a lot. They obviously had a bigger budget this time around. Ken, what's your opinion? Do you think I don't think they had a significantly bigger budget, but they had a bigger budget.
I did not compare the budget. I know that I felt like, because I was going to rewatch The Last Shift, and then obviously shit happened. But I felt like this one wasn't as good as The Last Shift. Like, I feel like it was a little bit creepier in The Last Shift, and this one just felt kind of like, rawr.
I think that they added a lot more actors to this one, and that like was I think had a more negative effect. But we'll deal with that in a little bit.
We'll deal with that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that.
We'll deal with that. I was on a Stephen King kick over the weekend, and I watched Silver Bullet, which I hadn't. I watched it at some point, but I don't know if I ever finished it. So I watched Silver Bullet, which is wonderful, with Corey Haim and Gary Busey before. I mean, he was insane in that movie, but he wasn't like Gary Busey current day insane.
Uh-huh.
Josh, your thing is possessed by Satan, by the way.
No. I'm I did that one on purpose. I'm just trying to turn off my low light.
I've never seen Silver Bullet.
There we go.
Corey Haim in a wheelchair with Gary Busey, and then I watched. I never seen it. Graveyard Shift, another Stephen King movie.
I think I've seen that one.
Which is an interesting little movie with the rats, and also Chucky's in it. What's his name? He's a bit.
I've been
part
trying. I don't know. I got told to watch Cemetery Man. I haven't had time to watch it yet.
Dude, I wanted to do that thing on the podcast at some point.
Let's fucking do it then.
I couldn't find it.
Oh, it's on Plex now, but
yeah, I saw it the other day. It's a Giallo film from the 90s, because it's an Italian.
But I also have Beau is Afraid now too, so I would love to dive into that if we could.
I do want to see that. Oh, speaking of Plex, Josh, I watched Fast X.
It's fun.
AKA
it's so
10.
stupid and funny. Like I went with my nibbling, and we had a fucking blast. Just literally laugh out loud, laughing the entire time. It was really cool to see it with them because when they turned 16, I believe, they just got a car and everything. Yeah. And I got like a whole bunch of stuff for their car, and in the card I put some like movie passes, and I was like, because this is your first car and everything, we have to use these movie passes for the next Fast and Furious movie, no matter when that comes out. So we fucking did, and it was like a year and a half later, and we used the fucking passes, and I was like, this is the best. It was so fun, and we just we laughed. It was great.
I had a blast at the movie. It was the notorious scene from Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise gets blown across the bridge.
Yeah.
It's like that, but for 90 minutes, like, or 2 hours. It's just like you're like watching it and you're like, every scene in this film is like defying physics in some way, but you're like, but Ludacris is still awesome, and Tyrese is still awesome, and Han's still awesome, and
They
Vin
know
Diesel's-
exactly what they are now. I feel like the Fast 9, they said that, but then they jumped the shark. They literally
Yeah.
like they jumped the shark way too much, and it was like, but we're leaning into it. And I was like, shut the fuck up. This one, I don't think they leaned perfectly with Momoa
Dude.
being so amazing in every way, shape, and form. But he was so over the
Momoa-
top, and he was fucking fantastic.
Momoa, when he throws something at the dude and calls him a butthole.
But those dead
like, "You
people that he was
butthole,"
like,
yeah.
and he's doing his nails and stuff. He's like, oh, you need a little more pink. So good.
He was so good in that movie, and although I have to say, the ending of that film was the most like like they're like, we're gonna cut it off mid action scene. You guys deal with this,
Because it was
and then
3 hours.
well, the thing is, I
And
don't
then
know
you
if
waited
guys-
after, right? To see the.
Yeah. You know why they're making this 3 movies? And you know how they got The Rock to come back, Josh?
Money.
By promising he's the transition between the final films. The Rock's like, getting his own movie in between this one and the next one. And that's why The Rock came back, because they promised him his own movie. So that's why, because Vin, I look like a
No
penis diesel.
way.
Yeah.
So then he's going to be in the last one?
Yeah. So they basically were like, hey, dude,
you can
we
have
need
your
The
own
Rock.
Black Adam, and then we'll do
No, his
That-
own.
I know.
Hobbs or whatever. Yeah,
Hobbs and Shaw stuff. But no, I'm just saying, like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
They're like, you can act like The Rock again, but like you always act like The Rock, and you're good. But just we need you in the end of this, and it's just like, these movies though, man. Like they don't have. That's what I laugh about. Is like they don't have any. Like if you die in one of them, it doesn't matter. You come back
No,
anyways.
I know.
They chucked.
They
They
got to bring back
chucked-
Jesse. Come on. He got shot to death, and we saw it. He's the only one now that is completely dead.
Gal Gadot got like tossed out of a car going as fast as an airplane,
She
and just
even like
pops
said
up and
peace
yeah,
as she was dying. Like, don't worry, I'll be back.
yeah. I don't know. I had fun with it though. So I watched those 2
What a
movies.
way
I
to
had fun. The Rats and I do like you know what I did like about Graveyard Shift, if you've never seen it. It's like there's rats everywhere. The main actor had no charisma whatsoever, which was a little funny, but like everything else in the film was entertaining. And the monster was like a giant rat thing so I was sitting there going, so a bat fucked a rat and then like it became giant. I'm not exactly sure what
Did
happened.
you
but-
see the bat hanging out at my house? I don't know if you see my Instagrams or anything like that. But
I don't go on Instagram very often.
there was a bat just hanging out at my house, like right in front of my door on the wall. And I was getting people to name it and stuff. It was the cutest little bat you ever did see, man.
So what
Here,
did
wait.
you name the bat?
Someone said name it COVID. Someone else said
No.
name it Kevin. A lot of like Bruce, and there he is.
I would name him Larry. Or
Isn't
no,
that
I would
cute,
name him
though. That I like walk outside to do like the barbecue or something. We were eating outside, and I was like, "Oh shit! Look, there's a bat just hanging out."
I would
Cool.
you know what should name him? You should name him Weasel.
I want him to come back because obviously, at nighttime he went out to go and eat some flies and stuff. Kin, did you have time to do any fun stuff? Any watching of anything?
I watched A Man Called Otto. That was
Okay.
so good.
I don't know
Wasn't
what that is.
scary. It's got Tom Hanks in it.
Okay.
It's more
Yeah,
just
it's the
like
one. He's like a dick or something, and then he learns not to be a dick, right?
Yes.
As you're talking about being a dick, and Weasel almost shredded Kin's face off.
I moved and she got mad, so she went to jump and she couldn't jump where she wanted to because Cutie Kitty is sitting there. So she lost her shit and tried to rip my entire existence out through my leg.
Rip your
But-
soul out through your leg.
But that's how you like it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And of course, Ken watched Psycho Gorman like 3 times, and now it's her favorite movie of all time.
Finally. Yes. Oh, wait. No? Yes? No. Oh, yes? No.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No. Yes. No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Sorry, mommy. Sorry, mommy. Sorry.
What? Yes?
I want to
no.
go watch Boogeyman, but I don't think I
want to see it so bad. I almost went in the 2 weeks that I was away.
Yeah.
But I did. If I would have had a car with me, I may have. Oh, speaking of which, I got a parking citation in the mail today for a car that was, I guess, the rental car that I had in Florida, like back in March. But I wasn't in Florida on the dates on this parking citation. And I wasn't in the same county nor city as on this parking citation.
So basically, they gave the wrong information to the
Yeah, the rental company. So I have to like call them tomorrow. But I was on hold. I was on hold today. This is totally side and ADHD. I was on hold today for an hour and a half with the insurance company to verify that I could get my birth control swapped out. Because I have Nexplanon in my arm and they just needed to verify it. An hour and a half. The fuck? I pay $600 goddamn dollars a month. Answer my godforsaken phone call.
That's about what I pay. It was about
Jesus.
I pay $150 a week or something like that.
For
Insane.
what?
Health insurance. And if
what?
I didn't have health insurance to get my birth control swapped, it would be about, I think it's like 2,000 or 3,000 because the birth control itself without health insurance is $1,500, and then they have to do a
I think birth control
procedure.
is covered in Alberta. Covered
Well,
by Alberta
have
healthcare,
the-
which is free.
But
I have
this
the
is America,
implant.
Josh. And this is America, Josh. Also, I saw a
I
video.
know. I'm saying, when you come into fucking Canada, guys, are you on your way? Are you on your
I
way?
would like to.
I'm getting a passport.
Josh, I saw a
Tomorrow.
video. I saw a video on Instagram the other day, and it was British people. This guy was interviewing British people on the street. He was British himself, and he was going, "How much do you think an inhaler costs in America?" And they're like $50, and they're like, "No, 300." And they're like, "How much do you think an ambulance ride costs?" They're like, $100, $3,000. And these people are like, I don't think the rest of the world understands how fucked up it is here, and how everything's about profit and nothing's about the people.
Yeah.
So
They when my grandfather passed and hospice came in, we were going through all of the medications that were there, and he had a couple inhalers that were like not opened, still sealed, all that jazz. And the nurse that came in was like, there is a nonprofit organization that distributes different healthcare items and medication and stuff to those who can't afford it. And they take inhalers because they are so expensive. So we donated those. We donated a whole bunch of stuff. And she was like, I was like, anything else we can donate? Because like, well, we're not going to sell it. You can't use it. Like, we have all this stuff. And she was like, yeah, these are the things. So but that's sad, like that we are at a point in society.
I'm sorry
where...
you're going through what you're going through too. I just want to.
Oh yeah, no, thanks. It's all gravy.
You want to know what's even more fucked up about that is you tell that story, Ken. I'm just like, oh, and someone was like, oh, okay, we're gonna keep giving him inhalers that he doesn't need just so we could charge him.
Well, and the thing, I mean, because he's on, like he was on Medicare or whatever, or Medicaid, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is, but
Medicare,
yeah,
I don't know.
The amount of medication that they give these people because they don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild. But yeah, no, it's stupid the way the cost of shit. And then I was just blown away. I was like, an hour and a half. I have never waited on hold for an hour and a half for my health insurance.
This country specifically, and it carries over to the rest of the world, but it just shows you why capitalism is a bad idea. Because when you put we're really not that many far steps out from becoming Repo the Genetic Opera, where
Yep.
like, I mean, I kid you not, it's such a ridiculous. It's like when Idiocracy was a joke, and then Donald Trump became president here. And we're not that
Yup.
far out from where they're gonna install fake organs in people and then come repossess them to get them back. if
Wait,
they don't pay
Trump
'em.
was president?
God damn it, Josh.
I'm kidding.
God damn it, Josh.
I'm
I know.
kidding.
I'm infected by your genetics. Have you guys done Repo?
No, but that movie's fantastic and I love it. We should do it at some point.
That
would
I want to do that, or Tokyo Gore Police, or just like
Oh God, Tokyo Gore Police, man, that movie is wild.
something
movie
like
is-
that. I always get those two mixed up, but because I saw them very similar times. So
Tokyo Gore Police is Japanese and very crazy, and Repo is very American and very crazy with Paris Hilton. So they're very different, but like I like them both. Okay, let us dive. We are talking today about Malum, which is a remake of 2013 movie, The Last Shift, made by the same director. I'm not sure. I don't know if either one of you saw it, and I didn't look because I didn't have a lot of time. If there any reason why they remade this, it kind of reminds me of Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, right? Where
Yeah.
it's the same movie. Evil Dead 2 are, I think, closer to the same movie than this and Last Shift are, even though the Last Shift and this aren't that far off. But yeah, let me read the synopsis for this. It reads as follows. A rookie police officer willingly takes the last shift at a newly decommissioned police station in an attempt to uncover the mysterious connection between her father's death and a vicious cult. First off, I want to say, like, because this movie compared to the original is very, like, it's very dependent on one character. And in this one, it's Jessica Lauren, and her real name is Jessica Sula, I think is the actor's name. And she killed it. She did a really, really good job. I think Ken and I were both like kind of implying it earlier. I think that this movie wasn't as good as The Last Shift. It was close. But my issue with this, and I don't know, Ken, you can agree or not, I think the bigger budget might have shot this movie in the ass a little bit because they go into more backstory, and they also have way more actors in this film than they had in the last one. I feel like the Last Shift had like her and like the cop that she meets at the beginning when she goes into the station and whatever the shit at the end. The ending, I feel like the Last Shift's ending was crazier than this one, than because of like they took the whole her seeing things and doing shit because of it, and I think it was it panned out better in The Last Shift than it did in this. But like, I still think they did a really good job with this. I think this was creepy as fuck the whole time. It was one of the creepier, it was actually one of the creepier movies I feel like we've done on this podcast the whole entire time we've done it. They did a really good job.
Yeah, but
with it
have
as
you
a
seen
whole.
Psycho Gorman?
I have. Psycho Gorman is one of my favorites, Josh, but like, I have to, the one thing I will say about it.
I just need to interject for a second. But have you seen Psycho Gorman?
I have.
I have too. Ken?
It's,
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
you're making it worse, Josh. You're just going to make her not do it even faster, even harder. But the effects in this movie, this is one of those movies I think that you're probably going to do good watching it more than once, because this movie is one of those movies where you're watching in the background and there's shit happening in the background like constantly. And like,
the best part of this movie is the poster. Like that scene that happens. Why she gets that bloody is so fucked.
It's so out there. You're like, what the fuck is happening? But it was one of those scenes you're like,
there's so many times in this movie where it just goes there. You're just like, wait, what the hell? And all of a sudden something really fucking weird starts happening. You're like, oh, what the fuck? And then it's gone. It's one of those like back and forth movies where you're like, oh, it's something scary, but then it goes almost too over the top, and then it becomes
Yeah.
less scary because of it. It's like,
Well, that's what I think. You could agree or disagree with me with that. I think the extra budget hurt them a little bit because I think that the original has that like Blair Witch kind of like vibe where it's like you don't ever
Yes.
see anything, right? Like you see like I think there was a little stuff with the cell, the holding cell that the three members hung in the original, but like the problem with
when
this
those
film,
girls flop down though out of nowhere, that
yeah.
actually got me. And like movies don't normally catch me off guard and
Yeah.
get a jump scare out of me. I think Smile was the last movie to actually like successfully make me jump. But I was also in a movie theater, no distractions,
Yeah.
more into it. Like watching anything at home while I have ADHD, even though I watch this first thing in the morning, that's when I'm at my most attentive, to be honest. I wake up, I'm ready to go. I watched this movie at like 7 in the morning with my morning coffee, which is a weird
Yeah.
thing to do, I think. You know, coffee and a muffin and Malum. It was good. It was great. I loved it. I think I have more fun watching the movies for this podcast like that first thing in the morning with my morning coffee.
I mean, it seems, and I know you two as being as ADHD as I am, if not like we're all on the same like kind of spectrum with that. Yeah, it's if you try watching stuff at like later in the day, it's like you're when you're as ADHD as we are, super concentrating for hours on end, like at work or streaming for kin or whatever you're doing, it drains you. And so you're trying to pay attention to something
Yes.
like this. This movie is kind of a slow
Well,
burn too.
I think for us all collectively, like Skinamarink was a hard one for all of our ADHDs. But I feel like if I watched that in the morning, like I did this, I would have been able to, immerse myself more into it. With them coming to the HorrorCon, and I just worked on all their stuff and everything, and like helped print.
No,
I'm like, I know, but like, it's a local success story. I'm championing the Alberta film scene by saying Skinamarink it's polarizing. It's cilantro right now to the horror scene. You either like are terrified by it and loved it and were immersed in it, or it's the complete opposite. There's no middle ground with that, and that's cool. They made like $7 million in box office off a $15,000 movie. How are you not gonna fucking champion that shit? It's awesome.
I'm happy it did it, but as I said when we talked about it, that shit ate for me, man. It
It
not
ate your butt
for me.
in a bad way.
It ate my butt. It ate my butt. I mean, continued to even make it all the way through.
Listen, I gave it 30 minutes and then I gave it 30 minutes again. That's all you get.
I mean, and you didn't miss anything in the last whatever amount of time. I mean, it was funny. Jerry was tweeting about needing to see it on Twitter yesterday. I'm like, no, you don't, Jerry. He's like, I give everything a fair shot. I'm like, you do you, brother. But I'm just telling you, that shit ain't for me. That shit is not for me. Like, there's a difference between building up tension. This movie is very good at being tense.
I feel like Malum did it. Yeah. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Malum is.
But the difference is Malum showed you stakes. It showed you what it was capable of. And that's the one thing that Skinamarink never did. It never showed you what it was actually capable of. If it started out and showed something very horrific and set the tone for this could happen again, then you're on the edge of your seat for the rest doing what they did with Skinamarink. But there was never anything like that. And I'm too ADHD to be immersed in
so
that type of content for that long.
So I'm curious on what like a lot of people think between this film and the Last Shift, because this film takes like the Last Shift and like turns up like things like gore, like that opening scene with the like with the video from the compound. And
it's fucked.
That shit it's fucked up, but that's the shit you really don't see in the original.
And
they
the monster shit they did, like that they accomplished with like the look and feel of it. It was really cool. Ken, did you find anything that says it why they felt the need to remake this?
I couldn't find anything. But I mean, I didn't dive probably super deep enough. I can find out though.
I know
So,
you
like-
can. You're like the guru at that. I'm like, how do you what? How did you know that? Where'd you find
The
that?
one thing that I didn't like about the effects is the demon at the very end had the weird look on its face, and I'm like until
It just took a dump.
no, it looks like. Do you know when you have a friend that has smoked entirely way too much weed, and they look
Yes.
like they're like what plant like, and you're just like, I'm gonna ignore that person. The demon had that look on its face, like it was like the Spice Girls Spice World is the greatest movie of all time.
Yes.
So it was because they wanted it to be on the big screen because they felt like the other didn't get that, and they had debated on whether or not they wanted to do a remake or an expansion of the universe, or an extension of the first movie. They went with reimagining because Last Shift was on a very limited budget,
Yeah.
so they wanted to put more in, which they were able to not leave on the table.
Again, I don't hate anything they added. I just think that they made it a little less scary. Not completely less
See, this
scary,
is
but, like,
the thing about doing this to your own original property. It's like even like when a band, and a lot of bands are doing that now, they're going back and re-recording their biggest album. Like 4 Years Strong just did it, Thrice just did it. I forget, there was a handful of other ones that it's to like help their Spotify numbers or whatever.
Taylor Swift did it because
but yeah,
she's the biggest in it because of her record
she wants to get
contracts and shit.
yeah,
like
exactly.
That. Yeah.
She got fucked over. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But when you see the original and you have that like attachment to it, even if it wasn't, you could have seen it at a different time in your life when you're more influenced by or blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like fill in the blanks. It doesn't matter. It's stuck with you, and you're comparing every note now to that original piece, and I don't know, it's really hard unless you're doing like what Whiplash did, or like adapting a short into that's different, right? A lot of the
I
stuff
think
he
that-
did in the original for Whiplash is in the movie, but that's different. That's a short into a full length. This is a full length.
Like I
that
said
they-
earlier, this is the easiest to compare is between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. The Last Shift into Malum is Evil Dead to Evil Dead 2. It's the same exact story.
He should have
just
just
told-
said The Last Shift 2 and did the exact same movie again and pulled an Evil Dead.
I think that it's a little weird trying to like. It almost feels like they were trying to trick people. You know what I mean? It's like we're like, oh, we're not gonna call it like, or dude, call it Last Shift again, like something like that. It's like it almost feels like you're
The
trying
Laster
to pull
Shift.
The Laster Shift, the Last Shift
Yeah.
shift
Too last, too shifty.
just too last, too shifty. It's Last Shift Tokyo Drift.
Oh
You just
yeah,
wanna
that's it. That's the one.
You want to Tokyo Drift it.
But it's actually set in L.A.
Dude, I was watching the beginning of this movie and I'm like, I grew up in Ohio. This movie feels like it is set in Ohio as like everything's apart. Like you're like watching these shitty streets and this shitty town falling apart and the shitty like police station. I was like, this looks like Ohio like every fucking like second of the way.
I don't remember the last like overly like Satan cult movie I've watched in a long time. There used to be like an abundance of them.
There was that one not too long ago with the girls that were having the party that had. Oh, fudge. I can find it.
But I mean, like,
Can-
this was done really well. The cult stuff really made you feel like
Yeah.
it had like a presence. And
Well, this is one of those movies where it's like they do a very, very, very good job of letting you like fucking with your head as they're fucking with the main character's head, right? Like Jessica is sitting there and being fucked with like an extensive amount. I mean, that's what most of this film is. And it's like, as they're fucking with her head, they do a good job of fucking with your head, right? And it's why I said earlier, I was like, it's one of these films that feels like you could probably get a lot out of watching it again. Like, you think of it makes me think of Hereditary a lot because of Hereditary, and like there's a lot in the background in that film at all times. And this is
speaking of Hereditary, I just walked past the phone pole that I'll be taking pictures of this weekend. I'm so excited.
How old is that girl now? She's got to be like in her 20s at this point, right? Because she was like older. I mean, she was like in high school in that last one, right? Or she was supposed to be in like middle school. I don't know, but that girl's got to be about.
But Jeremy Ray Taylor is in his 20s, and that kind of blew my mind because I was like, didn't It Chapter 2 just come out not too long ago? He was like a little kid in that, I thought, but yeah, Jeremy Ray Taylor's.
20.
Think about it.
We Summon the Darkness is the one I was trying to think of. It's got like satanic cult concepts behind it. But yeah, they don't do in my opinion, they don't do enough cult movies. I don't know. I know we didn't watch it on the podcast, but there's Johnny Knoxville on it, and it's an hour and 31 minutes. It's on Netflix.
Maybe. I have to say, the poster for this film, because I just put it in to like Google to look at it, is one of the worst posters I've ever seen.
Look at this. Here's the
That's
pole.
not the pole.
Well, that's the pole we're using with her. So whatever.
It was a telephone pole and it was round.
This is round, man.
It's not round.
Yes, I walked past it in real life. It's round.
Oh, it doesn't look round in that picture.
It's a flat image. Wait, I think
just like Josh's cock, it's got weird edges on it.
Yeah, it's 2D. 2D.
But I don't know. Ken, how did you feel?
There you go. That's me next to it.
Yeah, I see it now. How did you feel about the stuff they did add to this compared to the last shift? They go into the father, like the father was just like a
yeah, I want to hear what you think, Ken.
They kind of talk about him in the original, right? But they don't do the scenes like he wasn't a character in the film. So did you think that added stuff? What do you think about them adding this? God damn it, Josh.
I love fucking with you guys. It is so easy to fuck with you because I have control over everything.
It's in the game.
Okay.
You sound like Windows blue screening with that noise, Josh.
Yeah, I'm doing it on purpose. Ken, what did you think?
Honestly, like all of it, I did not like that they did that at all. Because I think I think it pulled away from the original one. The original one, you're like trying to figure out what's going on, and like nothing really makes sense. And you're like, what is this? This one, they're just like, here's everything.
Yeah, and
ta-da!
I understand them wanting to like give the backstory into the cult, right? And like, I actually did like the interrogation scene with the father and the like.
No, that was great. But
I don't know, the whole thing at the beginning with the picture in his locker and stuff, it reminded me of something like out of CSI or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
whenever there's cops involved, I just instantly go, this is just CSI Malum. Dude, CSI Malum.
I really liked Cheney Morrow played John Malum, which Malum's the name of the movie. I really liked the limited amount that he was in the film, like what he did. He pulled off the what do you call him? Charles Manson kind of thing very well. I liked his scenes a lot. I think he did a really good job. Like, I think they gave him way more like time in this one because I think he was just in a little bit of the last shift, but you could correct me if you've seen the last shift more recently. He did a very good job. Like, I think that the stuff with the father was like, especially Ken, you could agree with me or disagree with me. I think you'll probably agree after what you're saying. I think showing her father kill those two kind of took away like what like your sympathy for her, because you're like, he was a fucking nutball. You watched him murder these two cops, and you're like I feel like in the original, you're like you were like, oh, why does she want to connect with her father? Why does she want to like see what happened? And it's like when you see him like blow two people's heads off with a shotgun, you're just like, which by the way, the first one especially was fucking gnarly. That like when you don't see it coming and you just that chick's fucking head gets blown off, and you're just like, what?
That was the opening bit of this movie was fucking metal. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why the rest of it got me more. Like I said,
Yeah.
skin and rink, dinky dink on it like that at the beginning. And I would have been fucking dinky dink.
I mean, I watched it and I just was like, I want bacon because of the pig running around. And that pig was for just like, whatever, man. Also,
It probably smelled great on set.
I don't remember the homeless guy in the original at all, but like, again, it's been a while.
It's been a minute, so honestly, I don't remember either. Like I said, I remember that movie messing with me so badly, but I also remember it being partially because you had no clue what was going on. Like you said, it was very Blair Witch.
Yeah.
Like the whole, it was like two separate movies almost.
Yeah. I also feel like the ending of that movie left you like they cut off way sooner in the last shift than they do in this film. Like the whole ending with the demon and stuff like that. Like basically, if
Unnecessary?
No, I think in the last shift, and Ken, you could correct me, or this is just my remembrance. Basically, after she killed the two cops who showed up, because it was the same kind of thing where she was seeing things that weren't there. Instead of killing her mother was not in the original at all. She killed the cops that came in, and then that was like the end of the movie. Like it was like, didn't they like show an outdoor or something like that? And that was the end of. I don't remember the very end of that film very well. I just remember, I feel like that was the end of it. And you guys could correct me. You could message me on Twitter or whatever if I'm completely bonkers wrong. But like, that's the kind of stuff. It's like, it's that thing we say over and over and over on this podcast. Most of the time, less is more. And Josh, you're creepy as shit. Less is more. And I think that I liked a lot of the stuff they added to this. Don't get me wrong. It's just that fact. It's like you're going too much into the mythos. It's like let's talk about. It's a film I've never even actually seen, but Halloween 6, where they
He's talking about he's never even seen Malum. This is how much he has to say for a movie he's never even seen. Just imagine if he's seen the movie, how much he would have to say.
I'm talking about Halloween 6, where the whole they try to explain Michael Myers kills people because a cult.
That was so dumb.
Shit.
So fucking dumb.
Where you explain why someone does something, like in again that movie, when Michael Myers is horrifying because he's a regular person who just loses his, you don't really know why he does what he does, right? And it's almost like when you explain more than you need to, it
kind of like you.
It might shut up, Josh. It might be a better narrative overall, or explaining, but it takes away that that mystery factor, which is, I think it feels to me at least that it's like that mystery factor is what makes a lot of the scary movies scary, because you're like, you don't know why stuff's happening. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what, Josh.
It's 45 minutes in. It's 45 minutes in. That's why. It's happening again, Rod. It's happening again. I'm sorry. I just noticed.
It's 44 minutes. You didn't even make it to 45 minutes, Josh.
Shut up, Rod.
Okay, Josh, I have to ask you.
Do it.
I did notice during this film, I think the sound effects for the practical effects were really good in this. I think that they did up that.
I loved it.
And the gore although there's not a ton of gore, like it's just like 3 or 4 spots where they just hit it real good. They do a really good job of it when they do
turn it up to 11 when they need to, and they also saved some money cutting away and
Yeah.
making, like, to do it all. Like, I feel like Greg Nicotero, because he is the guy, they just do it too much. It's like, oh, we can. Let's see what we can do. And then they just do it all the time, all the time, all the time. And it's
Yeah.
like, you don't have to. You can Hitchcock it sometimes, and you can crank it up to 11 to show that this movie is capable of really fucking with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this one has it.
And they do a good mix of that because like they have that face in that opening video, right, that you're seeing where the girl's
Yes.
she's laying down and then her face is smashed in, and then later on they kind of show how they were doing it, but they don't show it, so it's like they're just
I
the
don't
sound
know. I
effects
feel like
going.
when she came back and was making the pig sounds and was, crawling around with like amputations and whatever, when they showed her face there, you could see the prosthetic, like see see through it a little bit. So I felt like less would have been more on that. Maybe just like another glitchy shot of it and then cut back or whatever. But I don't know. Ken,
Well, it
what
says-
about you? What do you think?
I don't think anything.
Ah, fuck. Shit.
Fuck.
Shit. Fuck.
Fuck. Shit.
I think that I would really like to go back and rewatch The Last Shift, and I really should have before this because I think that would have put a lot of help into it. I think that the mother was really odd. There were a lot of components with this one that just felt off, like that they didn't fit, and that may just be because of how much The Last Shift really messed with me, and then how this one though still messed with me. I have to tell you, I was watching this when everything was going on. And I was exhausted, and I was like, I'm going to watch this. So I laid down in the back to watch it, and every time a loud sound of any kind happened, I like threw my keyboard. I wasn't even scared. I was just like, startled. Like, noise. And so the movie was not the best movie choice for me at that particular moment. But when I watched it this afternoon, I was like, yeah, okay, yeah.
I really want to
think-
check out the Last Shift because like you have really amped it for me, like saying, but no, like for me going back and rewatching High Tension with you guys for the show, like it wasn't what I remembered. That first scene and the stakes and how it it made me feel not okay. Like I don't like that. I still don't like that, and I still felt like, this is like it's really not cool. It's not good stuff.
Yeah.
This one was, they had really good things, like we're saying. But I really want to check out The Last Shift because I want to see why. I want to.
Malum's the one. I mean, in The Last Shift carries this over, where this is the type of movies where I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I would have been the fuck out of that PlayStation about 10 minutes in. Like when she starts seeing shit and starts like the homeless dude. The homeless dude would have probably been the last. I would have been like, fuck this. Fuck
She
this.
wanted
It's
to
one of those things-
uncover, like she's traumatized.
But, like, what are you going to uncover about your father basically getting fucking like mind controlled by a demon? Like also like, I feel like, Ken, you could comment on this too. They add this whole, I don't think this whole sub story with her and the babe as a baby being like dedicated to the cult because the mother wasn't in the original and in The Last Shift. I don't think I like that addition. Like I think that like they were trying to explain why it happened to her. But I really didn't like that. That was one of the only things I didn't like. I was like trying to say that the mother basically sold the baby to the cult, or the cult took the baby because she was a cult member to the Malum and everything like that. You're like, I don't know. That was one of the things about this that I'm just like, that was the thing that we could say, saying, Ken, is like every time I think most of the stuff they added took away from the overall impact of the movie. And that was another thing. So Josh, none of the stuff with her, like the mother and the cult and her as a baby was in the original, if I remember correctly. So it's
Really?
like, yeah. So you're sitting there going, why are they telling you that like the mother, because the mother was,
I felt
that's
like
one of
that
those things-
Hollywooded it, like it wrapped it up, and everything kind of came together because of that fact. It's like,
I
oh, okay, but it's not like super impactful, or was it needed really?
yeah, I
Like,
don't think it was. I don't think it was because it like then you start going, but if if the cult took her and you're like, so nothing mattered and she would have ended up here no matter what because like it was like demon destiny at this point. I don't know. I do say that like I really did like the scene at the very end of the movie where she went into the like she woke up on the throne or whatever at the end and like there was like 800 people sitting there, all the dead people, and like the demon it was like the parting of the Red Sea and the demon walks up and everything like that. I thought that was a cool scene. I thought
Mhm.
that I thought that they added a lot with the like, or not added a lot. They used that fucking demon signal a lot in this version of the film. Like the pig is just running around with pig blood versions of it, like copied on his back and everything like that. Um,
yes,
I I think I did like this a lot. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's that weird comparison when you're going, you're comparing apples to apples. You're like, you have a direct comparison with The Last Shift. You have a remake original version of the film, and you're like, and so it's like, even when it's done really well and you have a film that you enjoy, you have something directly to compare it to. You're like, well, this is different, or I like this better, or like Malum picked up the gore and the it was creepy the whole time. I think like Ken was saying, I think The Last Shift is a scarier movie. I think Malum might be creepier as like it has that creepy vibe over it as a whole, but I think Last Shift might have been scarier. I don't know if that completely registers like because when a movie's creepy, it makes you feel uneasy.
Mhm.
But Last Shift is like, or when this movie's scary, you're kind of like like you're like on the edge of your seat a little more, and it's like kind of like
after
it's a
that
little
opening bit, I was kind of edge of my seat, man. Like, I did not
and
see. I was like, all of a sudden, holy shit, where the fuck did that chick's head go? Holy fuck! Oh shit! Like,
dude,
whoa, fuck!
that new
Take it
scene
easy.
was fucking gnarly, man,
Yeah,
and it
the
was
Yeah.
eyeball. Yeah,
yeah,
like they fucking did it.
that's
They
so.
fucking did it.
If you haven't seen this movie, if you haven't seen Malum, the poster, which is in this video, and you could go look on it and online there, then the Jessica is covered in blood, and it's because the there's another thing that's like completely adds to this. This movie also feels like unreliable narrator,
I
even though
knew
it's
you were
not.
gonna say that. I was waiting
Yeah,
for you to say that.
yeah, but because it's
You
that
said
that
it.
effect.
I almost put a counter that one episode because I think you said it like 30 times that other episode.
Well, because that episode it was completely true, right? But like it's the thing where the demon or whatever is like making her see shit that she ends up shooting her own mother because she sees these like the demons are
But
making her
did
see
she?
like
Maybe none of this happened. Unreliable narrator.
no, unreliable narrator means that you don't know what they're saying if
Unreliable
it's real.
narrator.
It means God damn it, Josh.
Purple monkey dishwasher.
What?
Purple monkey dishwasher.
Purple
Have you never seen Simpsons? Oh my god, Rob.
I
Oh my
mean, I've
God.
watched plenty of Simpsons, but I don't watch Simpsons regularly anymore.
It's an
Also,
old reference. Purple
you know
monkey
what?
dishwasher.
All you're making me think about is now I've been trying to rewatch the old animated X-Men show on Disney Plus because they're doing the new version of it. And it is so slow and painful as an adult trying to watch that as like the not as a kid. You're like, oh my God, that's Wolverine. It's the X-Men. Because like the animation's slow and the action's slow because it was all hand drawn from back in the day. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just like it is. Also, I don't know. Either one of you guys checked out the Gremlins animated show that's on Max.
Mm-mm.
I've watched like 3 episodes of it. It's kind of like a kids show, but like it's entertaining and I've been enjoying it. And it's actually had some stuff where I'm like one of the gremlins bit a guy's finger off and was like hanging it in his mouth like a cigar and fucking with it, dude. It's out there. It's worth watching. Is from what I've seen of it. I'm enjoying it. It's not super for adults, but I'm enjoying it anyways. But yeah, just like a lot of this film is like you don't know what's real and what's not real because of the whole like the demons are fucking with her and the thing is like what's happening and the cult and all that stuff. And I it's one of those things I do appreciate in a horror film where they have shit going on in the background, because especially when you're watching it for the first time and you're trying to focus on like whatever the camera's focused on, the main actors or whatever happening, but you have all this shit in the background. I caught things multiple times where you'll see like I think it's like Malum, dead Malum or whatever. Also, that was another thing, Ken. I was like very confused about them. Like, that was another thing I feel like they added, them taking the bodies of Malum and the two chicks like from the morgue, and then like they took then they had Malum's body again at the very end in that like the basement scene where they're like, I don't remember any of that being in the original where they're like they showed anything to do like.
I feel like we should watch The Last Shift is what I'm hearing.
At some point, yes. I don't want to watch it like next week. I would like to watch Beau is Afraid next week because I want to watch that bonkers fucking movie. But like but there's just like there's a lot of stuff and you're just like, I feel like some of it added and I feel like some of it subtracted. They added a lot, they changed a lot. And I heard like someone was talking, I think it was the Nightlight podcast. They were talking about how Freddy's podcast. They were talking about how like the director didn't want Jessica Sola to watch the original, so she like this whole like version of it was her just doing her version of this character and without having, which is good. And I think she did a really I think all the actors in this movie really did a good job. I think that this movie really like, you know, is out there and holding up on her performance, and I think she does a very good job. I don't think that like in comparisons like what she does is why this movie, I think in my opinion, is probably not as good as Last Shift. I think that Last Shift is just, I just think it's the minimalistic approach to it because of the budget made it a scarier movie, and which is fine. I think that them aiming out to a bigger audience and trying to get this out into theaters and all that stuff, even though I don't think it got a very big theater release, because I like by the time I'd heard about it, it was just like not in theaters
opening
anymore.
Weekend, they brought in $221,000.
So that's like probably a couple hundred screens. It wasn't very many screens. Like it's, you know, think about that. Think about like, say you average $10 a ticket. That's like 20,000 people. So you go like 100 screens with like 20 people, like something like that. Yeah, it's not that many. Like also, but like theaters are weird, man. Like Fast and Furious was only in the Alamo Drafthouse here for like 2 weeks. Like stuff doesn't stay in theaters unless it's like Marvel now. Like you have to be a Marvel movie to be. Josh is raving over there. God.
Yeah, I was just looking. They're only showing. It must have been a limited release because for the opening weekend, that's the 100% of the total gross.
Yeah, it couldn't have been big. Like by the time I even knew it was coming, what was the release date on it? Does it say?
Sorry, I just clicked off of that. It was in on March 31st, 2023, limited by Welcomeville and fans.
I don't like it's that weird comparison, man. And I think we're on the same page. It's that thing where you're like, this is what's going to happen when you do something like this, right? Like you do something that's a direct remake of something and you call something, it doesn't matter that they called it Malum, so The Last Shift 2 or whatever. Like this is the kind of stuff. I mean, Ken, did you really, I still enjoyed the hell out of this. It's just you like going, do I like this or Last Shift better? And I think I liked Last Shift better. I think that it was I had more questions, and I think the answers they provided were more whatever. Josh,
Well,
why are you a million miles away from your mic?
I kind of wonder if we would have gotten into this not realizing it was the last shift, how our views would have been.
Yeah, I don't know. Because you go in expecting stuff, right?
Yeah.
Josh,
I
what did
didn't
you think
see
about,
any of it.
what did you think about this movie, Josh?
It was all right.
It was all right.
Yeah, I liked it.
Josh, you seem like you're dead tired now too, and you also were like a million miles away from your computer.
I'm back.
You're back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, go watch Malum if you haven't. I think this film was a blast. It's that weird comparison where you're like, well, I have to say what the difference is in my brain, at least between this and Last Shift, and I liked it. I think that the adding took stuff away, like I've said. I think I've said that enough over the last hour, but I still enjoyed it. The gore was dope that they did add. I like the guys with the fucking the pillow sacks over their head, like with the mouse cut out, was a creepy imagery, especially with the pentagram on it. The one very much looked like a shark man dude or something like that. I don't know, because I think it was supposed to be Malum with the dead and decayed for a year, but I like that look a lot. I think that the added stuff was done well. It's just I don't know if it takes away from the overall experience, but it's just me. I enjoyed it though. I thought it was dope. Ken, you? What's your final thought on this?
I liked it. I think that kind of what we were just talking about, that maybe had we not got into it realizing that it was Last Shift, but I mean, then I would have just been like, this reminds me so much of this other movie. So
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I liked it. I think that if I had to compare the two right at this minute, I would choose Last Shift, but it was interesting. It was a lot of fun.
Yep. And Josh liked it too. Right, Josh? Okay. We're going to do Beau is Afraid next week. I'm excited. I'm prepared for a wild Ari Aster movie. So we'll see how we dig that. I don't know much about how, all I know is that when some of the YouTubers I follow after that movie came out were like, what the fuck did I just watch? But I'm excited because Ari Aster is, not even when he makes movies I love, still makes interesting, unique films that you're can really dig into. So I'm excited to watch it. So anything else before we close up, guys?
I
Unique
just want to tell everybody
New
thank
York.
you. Yes, that too. I just want to tell everybody thank you for checking us out and listening and all that jazz.
Yeah,
Checking
thank
out
you.
the YouTube channel.
Yes, Ken is awesome and we're awesome, and I think so. I don't know. I'm just fucking tired now. Okay,
Unique
guys.
New York.
We are murdermoose.com, Murder Moose Podcast on Twitter. Follow us there. Search in Murder Moose on YouTube and you'll find us. Murder Moose Podcast. Continue is continue.com and stdmotel.com and stdhotel.com and quaintain.com and onlynows.com. So go to all those and follow her and watch her streams, and everything continues awesome. She's also you're just continue on Twitter, right? So
Yes.
follow continue there. Josh is joshwrb.com and joshwrb on Twitter. Follow both of those. And he streamed the other day and fucking rated me like a madman. That's what Josh is. A madman.
It's because I talked about it. I was like, I haven't been on this fucking platform in forever. I'm going to see. And then I fucked my OBS so bad by doing that. And we witnessed that debauchery.
Yeah, Josh
fucking
had to
beginning of this.
reinstall OBS before
Fuck, I don't know.
heard this today. So
Fuck Twitch.
Okay.
Fuck.
Beau is Afraid next week. So watch that if you haven't, and check it out, and we'll talk about it and everything. So I'm Rod_Johnston on Twitter and Twitch and all those things. So follow me there and come check me out. And that's about all. So guys, thank you so much for listening. We love you. I'm glad that everyone's kind of back in their normal spots. Ken's back here and everything's like that. So
Looking
guys,
fantastic.
yeah, Ken always looks fantastic. She's the pretty one out of the three of us.
Yeah.
So we'll catch you
No.
guys next week. Yes. Love you. Thank you for listening. And bye, guys.
It's in the game.
It's in the game.